Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the star line by an author, career coach, and entrepreneur who wants to educate you. His latest book, he co-wrote with Jeremy Scheffling to help give you the inside look at something we all need help in, our LinkedIn profile. In Linked, we welcome Omar Garriott.
Hey, thanks, Sean. Thanks for having me.
Omar, let's go beyond the mic. Why do headhunters depend on LinkedIn, and how can people looking for a job take advantage of it by doing simple, slight tricks?
Absolutely. So LinkedIn has really become synonymous with the job market. It is the way that hirers meet candidates. It is the modern day job board, the modern day Rolodex, the modern day place that you can network. It is really everything in the world of work. And 97% of recruiters across every industry and sector use LinkedIn to find candidates. So if you don't have the right kind of presence on LinkedIn, you just don't really exist in the world of work and exist in the ways that you want to be found for a great next opportunity. And it isn't just about profile. It's also about building your network in both broad and purposeful ways to make sure you get found.
Your social media handle on Twitter is @SocialChanger. What needs help in most people's social media?
So one thing that I will say about LinkedIn is I don't like to think of it as social media. I don't like to think of it as another social network. Here's why. It's actually useful. No offense to you, Twitterers, and you just gave out my Twitter handle, so no offense to tweeters and people who love Facebook and Instagram, but LinkedIn is actually a useful social layer on top of the professional network. And so when you're searching for a job or a company you might want to work for, you can actually see your connections who work there, right? You can get validation on your profile in the form of a quick recommendation. Endorsements don't matter because anybody can endorse you. Your mother can endorse you for your Excel skills or your broadcasting skills, but getting recommendations does. So it's helpful to have this social layer on top of a professional network, but I don't want to confuse people in thinking that they've got to apply all these best practices for social media to LinkedIn. We wrote the book to cut through the clutter of some of that stuff and say, no. The news feed, even some of the professional content, LinkedIn Learning, all these other things that are on LinkedIn, they don't really matter when it comes to what really matters most, which is getting your dream job.
As you two wrote this book, how did you separate chapters? Did you say, Jeremy, you take one, I'll take one? Or was this really a project where you both had a handle on the overall vision and you were like working together on this?
Oh, I love that question. So my co-author and I, we started the student and new grad team at LinkedIn several years ago. So we've been bandying about the idea of writing this book for no fewer than 6 or 7 years. And so we've actually been writing it for that entire time. We collaborated very closely on every single chapter, and we knew the framework that we wanted to apply for the book because we've been running a consulting and coaching business for mostly MBA students for the past few years as well. And so the framework and what makes up sort of the body of the book is a 5-step process that we think every job seeker should go through using LinkedIn as the through line. And those 5 steps are exploring career paths, positioning yourself for for your next job, not necessarily the one you've been in, right? Optimizing your profile, searching for people and jobs, networking broadly and purposefully, and then researching so you can crush the interview. So that's the skeleton of the book.
Omar Garriott, author of Linked, joins us beyond the mic, and it's time for the Rocky Nade. 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. There is no pressure.
Oh, wow.
Best thing about your stepmom?
Undying love.
Congratulations on your recent cancer-free diagnosis. What's the one thing you'd like to say to all the doctors at UCSF?
You are doing God's work.
You've been known to read more than one book at a time. What's the last book you've completed?
Am I allowed to say my own book, Link?
I'll allow it. Favorite Guster song?
You have really crawled my social media profile. I love this. Favorite Guster song, Either Way.
Let's talk some soccer. Where will the U.S. men finish in the World Cup?
Oh, that is $1 million question. So I'm a huge soccer fan. and I am going to feel optimistic and say they'll make it to the quarterfinals.
Wow, that's bold.
Bold prediction.
Best concert you ever saw live?
I've got to say, oh, wow, tough one. I've got to say Dave Matthews. I live in Charlottesville, Virginia, where he is, he is a deity. And Dave Matthews at the Greek Theater in Berkeley, California. Great show.
Best movie of all time?
Best movie is a movie called Life is Beautiful. Absolute favorite movie.
Do you talk about Bruno?
We sing about Bruno, but we do not talk about Bruno in our house.
It's time for the back half with Omar Garriott, author of Linked Beyond the Mic. Omar, what's the one thing that you want people to stop doing in their LinkedIn profile?
The big thing people need to stop doing is expecting other people, namely recruiters and hiring managers, to connect the dots for them. You've got to connect the dots of your career and why you're right for the job you want next for people. Don't expect others to do that.
Now, who are the key recommendations people need from? Is it from their boss, their coworkers, or someone they work with?
The most important thing about recommendations is just to get one. Get one for every job that you've been in. Get one for, at least one for the 4 or 6 years you've been in school. But just getting one who can validate every role that you've had is more important than actually who they come from. Now, if you can get them from a supervisor, that's even better. But make sure you first just get one. How
many recommendations do you need? If someone's worked for the same place for, let's say, 25 years, do you need one for every 4 years, one for every role?
I would try to get one for every role that you've had. And if you've been in the same role for a long time, I would try to get a couple. But really all this is an extra source of validation when people land on your profile. You want to make sure that you have some voices in there saying, because think about it from the perspective of a recruiter or a hiring manager. They're wanting to just know, okay, I can trust that this person who is who they say they are.
It's time for one big question with Omar Garriott, author of Linked Beyond the Mic. Omar, what was more challenging, co-writing this book or dealing with Crohn's colitis for 20 years?
Oh, man. Challenging in different ways. Writing a book, I mentioned we've been working on this in some form or another for nearly 7 years. It's been a labor of love. Having Crohn's and colitis and also dealing with cancer, these were physical struggles. But I'm gonna have to say that writing the book was a bigger challenge of late. Luckily, I've been feeling a lot better. So thanks for your support, and thanks everyone for checking out the book. Link.
He sings about Bruno, but does not talk about him. He loves the Dave Matthews Band and wants you to freshen your LinkedIn profile today. Get those recommendations. Co-author of Linked, Omar Garriott. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you, Sean. Enjoyed it.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut.